All right, let's open up some questions to our audience. Yes.
Thank you, Sophie and Anton, for the very insightful discussion. So I think something that Sophie had mentioned earlier about having a larger purpose and the end in mind when you look at innovation, I think that is something that is very applicable to sustainability as well. And that's something that we all hear about today in today's day and age. That is something that companies really need to embrace. If not, they might get left behind. So what do you think are some 1 to 2 key things that companies should think about when they think about their own sustainability approach?
Thank you for that question. I know you asked me to give you 2 things organizations can do. I'll give you 3 instead, and I will start with their 3 C's: cloud, collaboration, as well as climate financing. So I would say that personally, I'm very passionate about sustainability as well myself, and you're absolutely right. This is very important for us today. And at Google, sustainability is core and central to everything that we do. We have been carbon neutral since 2007, and as well as by 2017, we actually matched 100% of our electricity with renewable power. This is our most ambitious decade yet. By 2030, we aim to be totally carbon-free. And we are on a sustainability mission to enable our clients to do exactly just that as well, and enable their ESG goals. I would say that where can they start for organizations really is, number 1, looking at greening of IT. What do I mean by that? An IDC recent report actually estimates that cloud computing could save 1 billion metric tons of CO2 emissions by 2024. And we know that many of our digital services could potentially be built on the cloud. And how we're working with many of our customers is that we have an internal saying at Google called "Start with Zero," meaning that as soon as you move your on-premise data workloads, for example, to Google Cloud, we can actually show you a trajectory of immediately how you can bring your carbon emissions down to 0, or your net operational carbon emissions of your carbon footprint in your data centers down to 0. And that's the greening of IT. Secondly, you can look at greening by IT. And this is an example of how we partner with Unilever, and they are one of our clients who are very much focused on looking at how can they ensure that traceability in their supply chain, or ensure supply chain traceability. And from that perspective, Unilever partnered with Google Earth Engine to put together satellite imagery to understand where are the areas of deforestation. Their prerogative is to ensure that their commodity sourcing has 0 deforestation from that perspective. So whether they are sourcing for palm oil or for soybeans, they get the right data to make the right decisions from that perspective. The second part of C that I want to talk about is collaboration. Recently, in July this year, together with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, we launched Project Point Carbon Zero. And part of this project, we have a program pillar called the Climate Finance Accelerator. And we're so happy to have TDCX also come in to participate as one of the problem owners. And what we're looking to do is to facilitate and to incubate the scaling of green fintechs or ESG techs to come together to really look at how they can solve ESG challenges for the financial institutions or the real economy stakeholders from that perspective, to adopt those solutions to help them in their sustainable journey. And so we launched that just last month, and we're so glad to have TDCX with us. The third C that I want to talk about where organizations could look at is climate financing. And just a couple of facts and figures from your perspective. Global investments estimates in order for us to reach the Paris Agreement's temperature and adaptation goals is about $3 to $6 billion by 2050. But to date, although there is a growth and we see in the private sector of investments about $300 billion a year, it's still not enough. Imagine the 3 to 6 billion target that we do have. But to give in perspective, the $300 billion is actually a very small share compared to $210 trillion of the AUM globally. And bringing these 3 points to your question, how can organizations get started? One is, of course, looking at the cloud from a sustainability perspective, looking at greening of your internal ITs, but as well as leveraging new and innovation solutions to look at sustainable operations for your organizations. 2 is collaboration. So thank you TDCX for joining us on this journey of looking at how we can solve ESG challenges with new innovation solutions. And last but not least is organizations can look at how they can mobilize and look at climate financing from that perspective of investing in sustainable projects. And that's what Project Point Carbon Zero aims to do, is really bringing together this ecosystem of partnerships so that we can move the needle when it comes to sustainability.